Good morning, everyone. We are continuing here in the words of the Mesillas Yesharim, and we are starting with Perek Aleph, the first chapter in the Sefer. Now, this is a chapter that could take a person's lifetime to understand, to go through properly, and to master. The words, every single word is measured, every idea, every example, every verse that he brings from the Torah, every Maimer Chazal, every statement that the sages tell us, each one was handpicked with the scrutiny of the impeccable mind of the Ramchal to make sure that he gets across exactly the point that he wants to us, the reader. And therefore, every word is like there's worlds and there's treasures inside of them. We don't have a lifetime to go through this chapter. We want to be able to say that we learned through Mesillas Yesharim the best that we can. But keep in mind that as we go through, not with speed and we're not in a rush over here. The mission and the goal in these words, especially here in chapter number 1, is to be able to understand the depth of the message that he's trying to get across over here. And it begins with the title of this chapter, Bebeyer Klal Chayvas Ha'adam Ba'elamai, an explanation of the general Chayvas Ha'adam, the main obligation of a person Ba'elamai in this world, or Ba'elamai in his world, which basically means, why are we here? Says the Ramchal, I am embarking in this Sefer on the sacred task of explaining to myself and to the reader, for all generations who will ever learn Mesillas Yesharim. If you want to get any place in the world of Avodas Hashem, if you want to move forward, if you want to move upward, if you want to ascend the ladder of spirituality in a healthy and a good and a proper and a successful way, you have to start by knowing, what are you doing here in this world? Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu create us? What does He want from us? What is chayvasai? What is the obligation that each and every one of us shares universally, and befrat specifically as Klal Yisrael? What is the great task and the mission that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has placed us in this world to fulfill? And he writes the following: Yesod Chasidus, the foundation of Chasidus, of piety, V'shorish ha'avodah ha'temima, and the root of pure service of Hashem, who it is sheyizbarer, to clarify, v'yisames eitzel ha'adam, and to make clear with certainty in the heart of a person, ma'chayvasai be'olamai, what is one's obligation in this world. Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu place you here? He could have not made a world, but He decided to make a world. He could have made only animals and fish in the sea and birds that will fly in the sky and not made a human being, but He decided to create a human being. He could have only made human beings, the general populace, Nahamain Am, the masses of this world, and He never had to make a Jew, but He decided to make Klal Yisrael, Am Yisrael, His chosen nation, because He has a purpose and He has a task that He wants us to fulfill. And what is the starting point? You must know, what is your obligation here in this world. And what does a person need to place his focus, and his direction in life, b'chol asher hu omel, in everything that he is engaged with and involved in, kol yemei chayav, all the days of his life. Says the Ramchal, it's not a short order or a small task that a person has to fulfill in this world. There are foundations and there are building blocks, and there is a ladder which a person is going to ascend in the world of Avodas Hashem, but it starts at the bottom. And the bottom base level of everything is, you must define what is your obligation here in this world, and clarify for yourself with certainty, so that you know which direction you're heading in and which path you are taking, so you will know where to focus and where to put your energies all of the days of your life. These perhaps 15, 20 words in this first opening line over here have pages and pages of ink of commentators who have talked and spoken in the greatest of depth with the most beautiful explanations that we could possibly say. There are foundations in these opening lines that we must spend a little bit more time on. We're not going to do that today. We're going to save it for tomorrow, because we're just trying to begin to understand and be able to see and be able to pierce into the world of the Ramchal, that we should begin to ask ourselves on a daily basis, what in reality is the purpose of why I've been placed inside of this world? What does HaKadosh Baruch Hu want from me? Once we understand the answer to that question, and we don't have to fear, the Ramchal is going to explain, but once we have the answer to that question, then we know the pathway that we are heading down and heading up and ascending in our lifetimes, ad mea ve'esrim shana, till 120 years, be'ez Hashem. We shall continue with the first line of the first chapter tomorrow, in Yirtzeh Hashem. Have a wonderful day.